Good day, lords and ladies of the internet. I am your host, the Parafox Archangel, the English gentleman of the internet, and I welcome you back to This is the Police, where today we're going to be going and doing policey things. We are going to hopefully finish that serial killer quest once and for all. And no, Percy, you are the most important person to stay. Let's get to it. Now, some of you might think I have the goal of ensuring the fact that ensuring the idea that I catch the killer. No. Today, I'm making sure I get my new cello concerto. We can hire one more, police officer. Glorious! Shame all of them suck. Although they do reset today, so... You know what? 170 isn't the best, but I've got a dead guy, and you know, something that's better than just nothing for the dead person. So you know what? It's shift day, right? Yeah. Which of you do I want? I want you. Why? Because you're the first in line. Let's just get on with this. Okay. We already know Floridor and Markiplier are the two best people in this damn precinct, but still. Harassment. Jimton Bakery. Right in front of the store, a strange man came around the corner and accosted a young woman as she left the bakery. The owner of the bakery thinks it could be the dentist. You've got to understand he's scaring away my customers. Well, I don't think he's the dentist, but it looks like he's scaring away customers none the same. But still. Can I actually dishire my snitch? I don't think I can. Fight! Freeburg Elementary. Headmaster Rihanna Smith reports that two mothers were fighting right there in her office. She had called them in to discuss the behavior of their children. It seems that Mrs. Clen's son often makes fun of the daughter of Mrs. Masters. The girl finally had enough abuse and stabbed the boy's hand with a pencil. Alright. Asano, go take care of that. That seems minor. Disorderly conduct. A man with 3 pit bulls entered the business center when the local security warned him that dogs weren't permitted. He started threatening to let the dogs off their leash if anyone gives them trouble. Little in Spain, off you go. Now let me guess, this very first thing is a false alarm? And I sent Percy away to... The man is actually the owner of a new bakery. He was trying to lure away customers. Okay. You want reinforcements to deal with the dogs. Journalistic investigation. Blake Cage. Mr. Boyd, I am preparing a long article for the magazine Righteous Life, and the theme of my article is Cop Sodomites. According to my investigation, tragic deaths are striking 13 gay police couples across our country's great cities. The satanic pentagram is emerging from the map. Perhaps the devil is telling them that he cannot is telling them that even he cannot accept them. According to my predictions, the next death will happen right here in Freeburg. The problem is that I need to visit 6 more cities, so I don't have time to wait around for it to happen. In fact, I'll only be in the city for a couple of days. I hope you can somehow, accelerate the process. I'll pay you generously, and don't worry if the dead cops turn out to be straight. Like my editor always says, dead men don't file lawsuits. I may want money, but I'm not going to trade people's lives for it. Well done, Asano. Well done. Alright. Crime in process. What's this? We got an anonymous tip that the dentist broke into the woman's clinic and is killing patients. Animal abuse. The Bill Butler says some madman came onto his farm with a hatchet and started attacking cows and other animals. You know what? That sounds more realistic. So, Tabuki, Persley, and McCoy over there. And then I'll just send you 3, because I cannot be bothered to try and argue otherwise. Mr. Boyd, I want to shoot a scene featuring one of the finest landmarks of your fair city, the Corn Monument. This is a public place, so please send 4 officers to assist. They'll keep any curious children at a reasonable distance and rein in the men and any protesting hypocrites, explaining that everything is being done according to the law. There's only one condition. The cops can't touch the actress. She's not some kind of... yeah. I mean, that seems reasonable. Wait, what type of scene are you talking about? Are you an adult actress? Are you a movie person or an adult actress?
Looks like we have a situation.
Seeing the police, the intruder puts his hands up, but he's still holding the weapon. Calm the cows down and say everything will be alright. Solidly approach the offender, pistol at the ready, and knock the knife out of his hands. There we go. Glad I sent Percy to that one. Everything's fine at the woman's clinic. It was just a story invented by the pro-life activists. They called the police as part of a campaign to attract attention to the issue of abortion, which is carried out at the clinic. I hate these idiots. Assault with a deadly weapon. Well, that's gotta change. Thanks. You never see pure gold like that on cable. Thanks? Just free money. Alright, what have we got going on here? Assault with a deadly weapon. A man called in from a phone booth saying that he's under attack by a sniper. I can't get out. He just shoots the asphalt in front of my feet when I open the door. I don't know what he wants from me, but when I first got in there was a note glued to the phone book. It just says, "Don't move." You know what? What's the other one? Hostage situation with fatal casualty. An Elvis impersonation competition has been organised for several well-known local artists by Lindy Brainard, who volunteered to evaluate the contestants. According to the owner of the bar, this sorry excuse for an Elvis fan rudely shouted at some of the participants, saying they were nothing like the king. Then he saw the woman shout, "I knew you could... Then he saw the woman shout, "I knew you didn't die. Take me away with you. We'll live happily ever after." The bouncer threw the woman out in the street, but she grabbed a knife from her bag and stabbed him in the throat. Then Mrs. Barnyard grabbed one of the impersonators and pulled him into the utility room. Yeah, that's a crime. Floridor, Percy, Markiplier, off you go. And then as for the assault with deadly weapon, might as well send to the rest of the people. Assault with a deadly weapon. A man wearing a suit is crouched on the floor in the booth. The surrounding pavement is decorated with bullet holes. A crowd of onlookers has gathered on the street, watching what happens from a safe distance. Call out to the sniper. "Mr. Sniper, you are surrounded! Surrender!" Look at the windows and rooftops of the nearest houses. The sniper begins to bombard the phone booth with bullets. One of the onlookers says the shots are coming from the 8th floor. Run into the building where the shots came from.
412.
There we go. We caught the sniper. Well done, everyone. A bunch of Elvis impersonators have gathered around the floor. Silently pass through the crowd. Inside is a man dressed like Elvis, scared to death, with a woman and a knife. Shoot the woman with a taser.
710.
Job done. Job done.
1210 in progress.
Suspicious individual. Of course. An old man dressed in rags is pouncing around under the prison gate, shouting, "I am the dentist. I killed all those women. Arrest me. I want to confess." I'm not even wasting my time with that one. Oh, do I really not have any investigations going on at the moment? Oh yeah, the only investigation I could do now is Victus. And I'm not sure if I want to investigate Victus. Because if I investigate Victus, I then lose my ability to do this. And I'm not sure if I still want to be able to do that or not. You know?
1210 complete.
Report, the old man in rags appears to be homeless and tired of starving on the streets. Yeah, can't blame him for that. Well, all seems done and good. Moving on. One Horse Toy Store donates toy trucks to orphanage. Nice, good for them. Fighter air show taking place outside a city. City Hall vows to solve water crisis. I mean, you'd think that would be just part of their job description. To solve the water crisis. Serial murder, ghetto. Yeah, I'll take that all for myself, thank you. Right, good. Let's get on with this serial murder then. 45-year-old Maria Camilla Solis, employee at City Hall, was found brutally murdered in her apartment. Such a pleasant thing. Animal abuse. Some students are claiming that the dentist showed up during their biology lesson and carved up some live frogs with his drill. I'm beginning to just work on the basis if it mentions the dentist, I ignore it. We received a call from a university lecturer who reports that a first-year student went to the board during a lecture, took down his pants, and defecated right in front of the class. Maybe it's some sort of rite of passage. Either way, we're gonna send Cool Guy Beard to go take care of it. Serial murder, frames found. Jack, all good things must come to an end. Freeburg is getting chilly and my work is done. You're running out of time, Jack. I promise to kiss your dear little bald spot if we should ever meet. Chief, let's finally catch the dentist. Every piece of evidence... Jack, each piece of evidence you find about the dentist will indicate a correct frame from one of the murder scenes. Remember the evidence when you're choosing the frames for each murder. Right. So what's the evidence here? That is Perseus with the head of the Gorgon. So what do we have? Bridge. I don't see it being there. Sugar Dream Confectionery. Okay. Fur store. Gorgon Hair Salon. Well, could you make it any more obvious for me? The mythologist. Make it more obvious for the mythologist. Ha 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 ha. Boom. There we go. Open the investigation, please. What does this say? You already have everything you need, Jack. Look carefully. Huh? Is it a collar? iPads? Or, iPads? A sleep mask? Or a hat? Alright, well, it's that one. For sure. Then it's that one. Then it was chains. Then it was strangulation with gloves. Huh? Unless this picture about being blind was already what was meant to be indicated, so... It's not that one, it's the chain thing due to the chains before, or that because of that image. And I'm not sure which. I think it's gonna be this one, so... After you choose 5 frames, you will need to sequence them. You'll build a chain of events following how the dentist commits his murders, and use that to figure out his identity. Choose the frames carefully. If you make a mistake, you won't be able to go back and replace them. Okay. Are you sure these are the right frames? Probably? Detectives. The doors and windows show no sign of forced entry. The victim may have known the killer and let him in, or he might have put on a good act and talked his way in. He was smart enough not to leave us any useful evidence. Medical examiner. The woman was first stunned with a heavy blow to the face. Her attacker then threw her to the bed and tied her hands to a frame. She died of exasperation. Strangulation, to be precise. The killer then mutilated the oral cavity with a power drill. Our maniac likes tools. Judging from the blood splatter on the floor and bed, his tool of choice is an electrical drill. We found a few drops of blood on the door jab. These show roughly where the killer and his victim were standing when he was... The dentist is a white male, 50 years old, impotent. He is fascinated by the female body, which is why he strips the clothes from his victims. But at the same time, he hates the female body because it represents something he cannot have. His fixation on the mouth suggests he was shamed by a woman for his impotence. By destroying the mouths of his victims, he is depriving the women of their voice, stifling them and destroying their place where sound is born. So, do I just do it in that sequence, or... what? Did I get it wrong, or what? It has to be that one. She got strangled, so it can't be that one, and she definitely isn't an old woman to wear a hat like that, so... What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? This doesn't make sense! So, I would like to point out the bullcrap in this, because I looked up the answer, and apparently the answer is ropes. And to that I have to state, why do you put a picture of gloves if it's the rope? What connection does that have? None! Absolutely none! That is the most bullcrap piece of evidence I have ever bloody heard of. You can go to hell. That is ridiculous. That is legitimately stupid. Mystery solved. Jack, we're able to determine the dentist's identity, but we can't move on him yet. As far as you know, our investigation was off book, and most of our evidence we can't take to court. But we'll nail the son of a bitch the next time he gets his hands dirty. I'll post the most reliable guys on his trailer, 24 hours a day. They'll drop the hammer on the bastard when he makes next move. That is legitimate bullcrap. Oh, the gloves! You have the option between gloves, a chain, and rope. What's the answer? Oh, clearly it's the bloody goddamn rope. The rope. Yes, totally. The evidence is a pair of gloves, so it can't be the gloves that did the murder. I'm honestly pissed off about that. That is so stupid. Just 3 days to go until I get my cello concerto. I can't wait. Is nothing happening today at all?
710
Thank you. Hostage situation with a fatal casualty. Richard Lester, manager of Papa Carl's Pizzeria, reported that a deranged elderly man quarreled with an employee because the line was too long. Unsatisfied, he pulled out a gun and shot the employee in the stomach. The other customers fell into a panic and made a break for the door, but he fired several shots into the air and ordered everyone to finish their meals. That's pretty bad. Let's go deal with that. Mr. Boyd, I would like to offer you a great opportunity to make some real money. Just send 2 police officers to the store who will pretend that they're trying to stop a robbery. Let me be clear. The robbers must leave the crime scene intact with the cash. The hell does that mean? There's a clear view from the street. The suspect is sitting at the table in the corner, quietly eating his pizza. There's a gun next to him, and there's about a dozen other people in the restaurant. Call the pizzeria and ask to speak to the man with the gun. I don't know if what you're offering me is a way to kill 2 people. So I'm just gonna send in the 2 worst people to you and see what happens. Theft, suburb. Shannon Waldrop arranged a reception at his home for his rich friends, about 30 people. Toward the end of the evening, when the servants began to take away the dishes, they noticed that about 10 silver cutlery items were missing. No one has left the house yet, so the thief is still here. Alright, you know what? You 3, go deal with it. Suspicious individual. Right, retiree Martha Miller complained to yet another called to complain about her neighbor, Roberto Marez. I haven't seen his wife, and last night I saw him burying something in the backyard. Today I asked him where his wife was, and he mumbled something about a business trip. I'm afraid that he's done something to her. All the time I hear them arguing. You know what? Sure, why not? We can go deal with that. Massacre! Several men dressed in camouflage entered a restaurant carrying a large sports bag. They asked for a table, ate their meal, and then took out some guns from the bags and opened fire in all directions. Well, that sounds like a SWAT thing. What's this do? Boss, we felt like useless clowns out there, and in front of eyewitnesses too. From now on, you can do your dirty work without us. Hey, I got 25 grand for that. I'm happy with that. Unfortunately, I can't help with that. Ooh, nice. Sell the automatic weapon. The guests are eating dessert and talking about politics. Nobody's going home until we find the thief. Pick out the most suspicious-looking man and beat him. Ask all the guests carrying a purse to go into a separate room. One man, outraged by the situation, jumps up and yells that he's too honorable and important to participate in this circus. Search him. Taking advantage of the panic, one of the guests stands up and quietly moves towards the back entrance. Where do you think you're going? Well done, guys. Mrs. Morales really is on a business trip, and Roberto was simple gardening and tending to his roses. Okay. That's all good, then.
Progress.
Oh, I see. They lost 50 professionalism for that. Oh, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Morez Pollock says she heard some noises and then screams coming from a neighboring apartment. She couldn't make out most of the words, but the man said, "I'll find it, then I'll shut your mouth for good, you." Mrs. Pollock added that the man who lives in the apartment is always in trouble with the law, and she repeatedly seen him carrying a gun. Well, let's send a bunch of people to go deal with him then, including the 2 people that just lost 50 professionalism. Glad I sent the 2 worst people, honestly.
Officer on scene.
Inside the apartment, there's a naked girl lying on the couch in tears. Standing next to her is a man with a gun. He takes aim at the police. Drop your weapon.
611 complete.
Well, it looks like he dropped his weapon. Well, that's definitely what you call a good way to end the day. I'm not declaring you dead until I get paid. September 30, just a few more days to go. Brutally murdered Maria Sorias was long-standing employee on City Hall. Dentist victims growing older. 45-year-old City Hall worker strangled by maniac. Today they're offering free admittance. No. Today my daughter is opening an art exhibit. I highly doubt you have a daughter. Ooh, I got another badge. Perfect. Does that mean I'm getting paid today? Paid my snitch. I got, yes, money from the jewelry. Public indecency. Viola Corley called the police when she saw a naked woman sunbathing at the beach. I came here with my grandchildren, and this woman has her legs spread apart. It's shameless. I want this dealt with immediately. Personally, off you go. I'm sure you'll enjoy the sight, so...
410A in progress.
Attempted murder, modern gallery. The owner of a gallery phoned in a complaint about a repairman who helped her install her expedition. I made a casual remark to him, and he looked at me like he was a serial killer. I'm afraid it's a dentist, and I'm next on his list. I'm not even considering that. No, you can go to hell. You paranoid little, panicky little bastards! Public indecency. Well done, Percy. Well done. We're gonna get you up to 1,000 professionalism no matter what! You're gonna surpass Purdy, probably, maybe.
410A complete.
Attempted murder. The repairman didn't threaten anyone. Gee, I wouldn't have guessed. A guest came into the hospital to check on a man named Christopher Rhodes, but he wasn't allowed in because visiting hours are over. He became unruly and hit the nurse. Personally, you and Tsubuki, off you go. Assault. Stockbroker Jerome Finneganna was sitting in his office when he was attacked by an unhappy client. Jerome managed to escape and lock himself in a closet. Meanwhile, his attacker is trying to break down the door. Purdy, Asano, off you go. Suspicious individual. Oh god. A man with a lacerated hand walked into the emergency room. He says he hurt his hand while he was drilling something at work, but I don't believe him. From the side, he looks just like the dentist. A group of environmentalists have gathered at a first store and begun throwing rocks at the windows. Now that's something that's actually a crime! Really. Technically. Maybe. Customers and employees are running out of the store. The security guard is trying to reason with the protesters. One of the activists throws a Molotov cocktail through the broken window. Some of the coats instantly catch fire. Grab one of the surviving coats as a gift for your sister. What? Okay, call the fire department and attack the activists with nightsticks. It's mostly the fire department part of that I wanted. Assault, St. John's Hospital. The suspect is under arrest, but the whole time he's been resisting and demanding to be allowed to visit the patient. That's my brother. He won't survive till the end of the week. Just let me see him. Let him visit the room, but keep him under arrest.
412A.
We're not ales.
412A.
Ah! I mean, that sounded like someone was gonna be killed, so... The man really did hurt his hand at home. He didn't look like the dentist either, from the profile or front or whatever. Pop star Alina Morales can't get to the concert because her bus is surrounded by excited fans. The singer's manager is afraid that the fans will tear her to pieces. You've got to come over here and sort this out. This is more than our security can handle. Fair enough. Why not, I suppose? I still love how Markiplier doesn't have any ranks. I'm really tempted to just investigate into Victor at this point. But he's good for money, technically. But he's good for money because he'll sell the Mafia our crap. But he's also good for money because if we turn him in, we get 150 grand. So, hard to say. Well done, everyone. Good job. Good day of work. Now then, October 1st. Drug addiction in city increased by 38%. Well, when you got... The Mafia is basically a drug cartel, so... Ruben Ostovich, casino owner. We keep the nut jobs out. Moonlight Soccer Stadium hosts concert in honor of City of Day. Okay. Tomorrow I get my new music, and I can't wait for it! Mafia, your share. Oh, I'll share that with the staff. You know, I didn't bother to look at how much everyone likes me today. Probably should have done that. Assault. Rubina Lynn was crying hysterically as she reported that a neighbor had spent the past few days constantly using a power drill. Beside himself over a constant noise, his husband Derek went to investigate. He and the neighbor quickly fell to blows, and Mrs. Lynn's husband received a stomach injury from the man's power drill. Derek Lynn was able to return home and lock the door, but the neighbor is currently breaking into their house, screaming like a lunatic. Alright, well, you know what? That's good enough for me. You wish for reinforcements, do you? Very well, have some reinforcements. Destruction of property. A woman witnessed students running into a telephone booth and tearing out the receivers. I think they're competing to see who can steal more of them, but they put the receivers in the bag and ran away. Somali protector, go deal with the teenagers. I mean, they're teenagers, so they're idiots, but still. Jack, port security pulled over a truck and doesn't want to deal. We don't want any extra noise, so send over your guys to sort out the situation. Very well. I mean, you probably need me to be on good terms with you anyway, so... Destruction of property. Offender court. Assault. Offender court. Fight. A family walked onto the beach and noticed that a few surfers were gathered near the water, aggressively arguing with each other. Looks like they're about to fight. Yeah, sure, why not? Everyone's on their way home now anyway, so... Firefight. Numerous witnesses report two black SUVs facing off in the center of the city. Armed men exited the videos and started firing at each other. Well, that definitely sounds like a big thing that we should probably have to deal with now. The police are having difficulty crossing the deep sand, and the surfers are already thrashing with each other already thrashing each other's dudes. Try to grab the surfers. The surfers are covered in butter. They slip through the policeman's hands and escape into the water with their bones. Fire into the air and shout, nobody move. Yeah, there we go. Suspicious individual. Two girls on their way home from a club saw a creepy male figure standing in a doorway. We ran away quick, but we're afraid he'll get someone else. I mean, that sounds just like a false alarm, but... You do not need reinforcements, you got the bloody SWAT with you. Shootings. Freeburg High School. Shots rang out at the school dance in the gym, and one of the teachers fell to the floor with a hole in his stomach. Panic descended as the crowd rushed through the exits. Nobody knows who fired the shot or what's going on, said one hysterical skullgirl who witnessed the shooting. Ah, I see. Then we're gonna need some good people to deal with it. I see. This clothing store next door had left an old mannequin in the doorway. Okay, I was expecting a false alarm, but even that is pushing the limit a little to me. Homicide, apartment house. Kenya Anderson was the one who called it in. There was an older man smoking out in the street, and two young men walked up and asked for a cigarette. The man said he didn't smoke, and a fight broke out. The older man managed to fend off his attackers until one of them pulled a knife and stuck the man in the chest. The perps disappeared behind the nearby green door. A red-headed hot dog seller tried to help him, but he was too late. Let's go deal with those bastards. Do you really need reinforcements? I don't think you do.
Contact complete.
See? Of course you don't.
We've got a situation.
A few onlookers are gathered around the crime scene. A red-headed man in a white clothes is bent over the body and is doing something with it. Did anyone see the attackers? A woman runs up and says the attackers already fled. One of them she knew. It was her neighbor from apartment 203. Enter the house through the green door. All the walls on the second floor are covered with painted with strange symbols. The decorations convergence around apartment 205. Break into 205.
410B complete.
Alright, there we go. And that's all there is for today. Glorious! Can we finally goddamn catch the dentist? I want to see what happens. Ooh, I've got my concerto. Analyst. Most contraband passes through dockyard. Beatbusters Dance Studio organizes performance near Corn Monument. Beauty contest breaks leg. Beauty contestant breaks leg. Everyone loves me. Glorious. Percy, you deserve a badge. Why? Because I like you, Percy, and you obviously have my favoritism. Now let's look at the catalogue. What do I have available to now? The cello Sona. Oh, it's not concerto. My apologies. I was calling it wrong this entire time. What's coming out soon? Tchaikovsky! Yes, please. Right now. Now play Chopin, please. I want to hear a cello. Ooh. Oh, this is really nice. You know what? I think it's about time I got a goddamn raise.
411.
Suicide threat. School. A middle school student locked away in herself in the chemistry teacher's office and is loudly threatening to mix herself a lethal cocktail and drink it. The teachers are afraid to break down the door and report that the girl has shown unstable behavior in the past. According to one of the girl's classmates, I think someone broke her heart, but I don't know the details. Sounds real enough for me to send Percy. You know, this concerto is really nice. It's quite quiet, so I'm not sure how well it's coming up in the recording, but it is so nice.
411 complete.
Okay, you caught the girl. Good job. Good job. Now make your way back home, Percy, so you can go on the next mission. Victus Varga, what are you offering? Pawn shop, for 439, 4 grand. We'll see. We'll see. A cashier started flirting with a customer, asking her to show him her ID, or he wouldn't sell her a bottle of wine. He then called the police, insisting that it must be a fake ID. She couldn't just be 35 years old. I'd give her 29 tops. Theft. A saleswoman at the clothing store called to report a theft. A girl exited the dressing room wearing 4 t-shirts and quickly made for the exit. The scanner at the store entrance sounded its alarm, but the thief managed to slip through and ran away across the street. Alright, Percy and Koichi, off you go. 439. 439 at the pawn shop. 439. I will not forget this assignment this time. 430 goddamn 9. What's this? Jack, we have something going down at St. John's Hospital at 6. At 6. Alright.
911.
The woman's idea was legitimate. I thought it might be. It's why I didn't send Percy to that one.
In progress.
Armed robbery. 3 armed men attempted to rob a pawn shop, but the security system was too much for them. The doors are all locked and the assailants are trapped inside. They're threatening to kill the owner unless they're immediately released. Huh. So, let someone die or get 4 grand.
911.
What's this
in
one?
progress.
Several hospital patients have complained that they've lost valuables and money.
910B in
I like my
progress.
money. I like my money. A van approached the bank just as it was closing. 3 masked men jumped out and quickly opened the door and disappeared inside. Witness Betty Davis immediately called the police. She thought the criminals might be armed, but she wasn't sure. Sure, why not? Let's send people. It's late, I'll even send the SWAT. I'm sorry, pawn shop owner. Oh good, no one died. You know what? This is what I like about Victus.
911.
He generally doesn't kill people. Public indecency. There's a couple elderly men sitting on a bench in the park playing strip poker. 5 people already called in a file to complain. I've never seen anything more disgusting in my life, said one Catherine Benayu. Alright, well, let's send the three little guys.
I was trying to raise 10-1, Sergeant Hotspot.
Alright, if that's looking bad, let's send in the 2 professional guys. I wasn't sure if it was worthy of Floridor and Fitchback. I should have thought it was, considering it's a goddamn armed robbery, but what can you do?
Got a situation here.
Public indecency. Desire Park. One man viciously jumps to his feet, throws his cards onto the bench, turns his bare ass towards the playground and shouts, "Ha! I won!" Throw a coat on him and arrest him.
214 complete.
Bloody hell. Does this sort of thing actually happen? I want to really ask a policeman, like, do these sorts of crimes actually happen? Another day complete, and we're all the richer for it. Ooh, hello. Finally, a cutscene. What's going on? Drac, what are you doing in bed? Jack, you getting phone call.
What happened?
We've got him, Jack. We got our guy.
I'm on my way.
Nice.
Well, what's the situation?
2 things. First of all, our guy isn't a guy.
What?
She's over 6 feet tall. She's so strong it took 3 guys to take her down, and she wasn't even putting up a fight. If she had a mind to cause trouble, we would have needed a tank. Second, she's not saying a word. Nothing at all.
Huh,
When we
alright.
took her down, she was packing her drill in her bag and going out somewhere. The clues in her trailer, they were... Well, there's not a lot of room for doubt. There's a lot of evidence.
Huh.
I'm going in.
Be careful. I'll bet she could snap those handcuffs if she wanted.
What's this woman look like?
There's no doubt this is the woman who's been killing women across Freeburg. But it's not the dentist sitting in front of me. Either she began killing at the tender age of 4, or someone's playing games with us. A game I don't yet see.
Huh, okay.
But this woman knows more than I do. Shame that her eyes are so empty. She's not gonna answer my questions. At least not today. She's finished her bloody job, but she's working for someone else. Not hard to guess who's behind this.
Really? Who? Oh, the mayor.
So fast? She say something?
She's not gonna tell us anything, Martin. I'm going home. Get a couple more hours sleep. One of the nice things about the world going to hell, everyone's secrets are quickly revealed. Who has time for secrets these days?
Fair. Segregationist teacher promoted to dean. Street racer stage accident in city center. Dressed in blood film banned in local theaters for excessive cruelty. Fair enough. Hello again. What's going on?
Yeah, box of Caesars.
Oh, it's you.
With that outfit, I could see you coming a mile away, Mr. Boyd.
Ah, Mr. Chaffee. Knowing your love of theatrics, I was afraid you'd keep the mystery surrounding the dentist going for at least another day or 2.
Huh.
What could you mean, Mr. Boyd? Well, it's true. Robespierre does have a passion for mystery and the dramatic. But there's no need to confuse the actor with his character. For you, I'll play the hurried businessman who likes to cut to the chase. That's not
Fair.
quite me either, but though this mask I wear is quite a burden, I have long grown used to it. Besides, I don't want to distract you from your 180-day quest, not for a second longer than necessary. My, is half your time already up?
Not quite. Got a few more days before we reach half. Where are we going, Mr. Chaffee? Robespierre, whichever name you prefer.
You simply cannot imagine, Mr. Boyd, the painstaking work I've done to cultivate this maniac image. I turn to such literature the likes of which I wish I never knew. If our law enforcement agencies possessed even the slightest aesthetic sense, they would have instantly seen the game for what it was. And the postcards, what can I say?
And if the real dentist turned up again at the wrong moment? I don't imagine lunatics take kindly to imposters.
The dentist died of a heart attack last spring while he was sunbathing on the beach. I discovered this quite by accident, from a university friend, a therapist. It was he who convinced the dentist to stop killing, by the way.
Why the murders? Obviously they'd all been raped by Rogers. It would have been much easier to just get them to talk.
Mr. Boyd, the last thing I want is to appear a brutish butcher. I spent enough time on these women to know they were no use to me alive.
What?
Not sure if I should be ashamed to say it, but Stuart Rogers far surpasses me in his ability to intimidate people. Apparently, such things only come with experience. But murder? For that I truly do feel ashamed. It's a burden I shall have to bear for the rest of my days.
Sure, a burden.
But sadly, it's not my greatest shame.
What could be more shameful? To frame an innocent woman for such terrible crimes?
What? Are you unhappy with a woman cast as the serial killer? Firstly, I'd say Dear Jordan adds a certain grace to the whole sordid story. And second, of all the people I hold in my debt, she's the strongest. And not just physically. Third, she had good reason to settle her debt with me as quickly as possible. Without going into details, I'll just say that she's a very, very caring mother. Do these taste good? Had we met earlier, Mr. Boyd, I would have shown you a far more refined pleasure. One without such an unpleasant smell.
I'm afraid to even imagine what you count as pleasures, Mr. Chaffee. Fountains of blood in the city square?
It's
Mr.
looking
Boyd,
that way.
You're not listening to me at all. I didn't take any enjoyment from the killings. Everything I've done was of strict necessity. I couldn't make Jordan kill all the women that Rogers raped. That would have been excessive. If I had made her kill them all, you'd be rather upset, no?
I'm rather upset that you did in the first place.
I can't say I fully understand your plan, Mr. Chaffee, but you've given me more than enough reasons to arrest you.
Yes, but allow me to counter them with one good reason not to.
Okay. What could that possibly be?
I think you mentioned you dined here once?
Yes, not the best restaurant in town.
And maybe you're just not familiar with the full range of our services.
What's that meant to mean? What is going on here? Mr. Chaffee?
When I inherited this tasteless place from my father, I knew I could never make it into an exquisite restaurant.
But?
Instead, I accentuated the atrocity of it all, an aesthetic of a different kind. Now I even live here. To me, this complex is like a microcosm of Freeburg.
I don't get it.
We're not here to talk about that. At school, I read a French novel whose name doesn't need mentioning, and I read many amazing things. It seems that in Paris, just before the Revolution, certain places were quite popular. People of wealth and taste visited from the city, shed their luxurious coats, peeled off their white gloves, and with the help of the local farmer, they brutally stabbed a hole in a bull and decorated themselves with the splattering blood as they prepared a large piece of meat for the fire. In the bull's suffering, these effeminate aristocrats found a perverse sort of pleasure. Now I make these pleasures available to the people of Freeburg.
What?
I will be honest with you. People who pursue such cruelty truly are crazy. But what is interesting The best steaks are cut from the tender meat of young bulls. 11 months is just right. Beautiful, healthy, full of strength. But these wealthy degenerates who pay $7,000, so our experts will show them where to plunge the blade for maximum effect. Even they don't have the spirit to slaughter the young bull. The thought never enters their minds.
Huh.
They look into the eyes of the healthy animal, bursting with energy, and they quickly shuffle past. As if by instinct, they are drawn to the old, weary, fading bulls. And then, with terrible smiles on their faces, they chew through tough steaks that taste of burning rubber. They feel that they're doing something real with their own hands, a sort of natural selection, as if they're agents in the natural process.
What's this got to do with me?
But nature also teaches us that the old beast, unable to fend off any threat, might yet survive if it cowers in a dark corner and pretends it doesn't exist. Then, perhaps, the young predator will pass. Mr. Scott will drive you back. I'm late for an appointment.
I don't understand anything of what you just tried to say.
Mr. Boyd, you won't believe it, but the person I just got off the phone with was talking about you.
Seems like I'm pretty popular these days.
By the way, Mr. Boyd, I've got to ask, why $500,000?
Go fuck yourself, Troy Starr.
Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Boyd, we congratulate you on the most high-profile arrest of your career. Today you are truly the hero of Freeburg. There's no need for such grand words. I was just doing my job. How did you manage to track down the dentist? The whole department tracked him down. My staff and I coordinated the work, and we neutralized a madman. Are you surprised the dentist was a woman? Very. Our federal friends had me and everyone else convinced that all these murders were the work of a man. How do you comment on rumors about the relationship between the Mayor Rogers and all 5 of the dentist's Freeburg victims? No comment. I have nothing to say. Thank you. Well, everyone, you know what? I think that's a good place to end today's episode. We've captured the serial killer, and I think been threatened? Were we getting threatened, or was he or is he giving a thing about telling us what's going to happen and how we I have no idea whether we got threatened or not by that. So, everyone, what can I say other than thank you all for joining me today? I've been your host, the Parafox Archangel, the English gentleman of the internet, and I hope to see you all again next time. But I'm afraid that, until then, it is time for me to bid thee all farewell, good day, and finally, good night.